What is up? What is up, folks? Good to see all y'all in the chat already. I was getting tickled sitting here watching some of the comments. I always love that. It is great. And yes, we got to take care of everybody in the chat. Can't be having any drama there for sure. So we'll make sure and keep everybody in line. Won't we, Miss Susan? Hey Nosy. Hey, Miss Susan. Debbie, Scruff. Let's see. Any more in there yet? Yeah, good morning to everybody. I would have actually hit the go button just a little bit sooner, but my boss decided to call me twice in a row as I was sitting here in the chair. So is what it is. We are good to go. I think I got him handled. Hey, Kelly. How you doing? Good to see you there. Let me, of course, I did not, I was just fixing to load my videos up in here, my video in here when he called. So if y'all will bear with me just a moment, I will get this, going. Hope everybody had a good evening, yesterday. It was busy for me as always, but it was pretty good. Hey, I know we had some technical difficulties and everything, but how much fun was that the other night with Matt? I tell you what, I like him. He's a really good dude. We always have a good time, and hey, we actually got through it. We actually got through it in spite of the technical difficulties. So, all right, let's see here. Almost there, guys. Can't ever find it quick when I want it. I guess I should have took one more minute before I hit the go button and went ahead and found it. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. And it is crazy to me how many people follow this guy. Just saying. All right, let's see here. Where do we go? All right, found it. Sweet. Okay, let me get back to my share tab. Okay, we're going to share that screen. Going to share the whole screen. There we go. And it's funny. It's always funny how, and when I say funny, I guess I don't mean necessarily funny, ha-ha, but it's always funny how you can take something like this take we're about to watch here. You can take the exact same information and you can give it to two different people or two different groups of people, and it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing the different conclusions that they can come to. Now, honestly, in good faith, would you come up with the two opposite conclusions? Maybe, maybe not. But you've heard my take basically on the ATF documents and all that good stuff and that last hearing. And there's a lot of us that have that same, they've come to the same conclusions. But we're fixing to listen to a different take on it and what all that proves and means. And y'all are fixing to hear a totally different outlook on that. So I couldn't believe the take when I heard it. So anyway, hey, Funny, what is up? How you doing this morning? I'm glad to see everybody in there. Thank y'all for being here. All right, let's do it. I'm going to try to get through his, I'll try to get through his little sponsor here as quick as I can. But anyway, fire in the hole, guys. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Talmud Tatum Show. We got a whole bunch of stuff to talk about.
And I'm apologizing in advance to y'all, but I think it's important. We need to understand why there's so many crazy, confused, and just people out there that yeah, that just believe some of the goofiest things. Why so many people are bought into the slop, and it's people that I hate to say it. It's a free country. You can listen to whoever you want, but it's people that follow guys like this right here. So it is what it is. I'm telling you what, they're laying it on thick.
Out Congresswoman Sheila McCormick is an idiot, and she ended up resigning because she got caught stealing money or something of that nature, allegedly. Tucker and Bucky Carlson. I didn't know Tucker Carlson had a brother. He's dumber than Tucker is. So we're going to talk about that as well. A lady on IG decided to send my wife a crazy message, and you dirty broad, I'm not going to let you get away with it. I'm finna expose you today. But we also have to talk about the violence in the black community. But before we get to any of that, there's some new updates, breaking news, audio released from Tyler Robinson's grandfather, allegedly. I think we have proof of it. I don't know. We're going to try to verify it. Welcome to the Office Tatum Show.
I want everybody in this room to have that same spirit, that same identity carried in your life. Make sure that you go through life to find your purpose. And we don't do this just to get a pat on the back. We do it because we came here to win. And it starts with you understanding that God has a purpose. This is a time to be more bold than ever before. All Americans at the end of the day, we should love one another. We should be focused on what's right for our country.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Office Tatum Show. Shout out to all the members.
Did y'all see that? He does the WWE thing every now and then too.
Thank you for joining the membership program. Like I told you, we're going to try to make the best membership program on YouTube for all of those who are rookies. That's the first level of the membership.
Yeah, I can't mock him quite like Coach can. I can only go so far with it. But yes, I always get tickled to hear Coach Coach mocking him. Coach can approach it from a whole different, whole different direction than I can. But it is hilarious.
Program, you have access to post-show clarity, which we do after every show. We have a conversation.
Now, I am going to make fun of some of the words that he uses. Poor guy. He needs to quit looking in the dictionary before he starts his podcast. It would make some of his takes make a lot more sense.
About random stuff, to be quite honest. Some things that I'm thinking about the show, or maybe some other things that I want to talk about, haven't been able to cover it on the show with the heavily political content that we do. So you have access to that. Shout out to everybody who's an officer, SWAT, and also our two deputy chiefs. We appreciate you both, James and Kevin. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's get into the top story. And the first story of the day is the IDF soldier who's an idiot who ended up getting arrested.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and watch this real quick just to hear his take. This is some more professional Israeli simping or carrying water for whatever. Just listen. This is ridiculous his take on this.
So let me show you a picture that went out of control on the media, and that picture depicts an IDF soldier taking an axe to a fictitious Jesus. Now let me just put this in perspective. First of all, that ain't Jesus.
That's a dumb take already. That ain't Jesus. It's not a matter of whether it's actually Jesus or not. I think everybody's pretty clear that it's not. It is just what it represents and what it says about the guy doing it, and of course the religion that he subscribes to. But yeah, I don't think anybody made the argument that that's actually Jesus. Just saying.
And they don't look like Jesus. And people need to quit trying to put images up of Jesus and have some white man on the cross.
I guess he thinks Jesus was a black man.
Ain't Jesus. Now, the fact that the IDF soldier thought...
Raining. That's the first time I've seen you here in a while. Thank you. Good to see you. Hey, Jenna. How are you doing this morning? Awesome. They're piling in.
Thought it was Jesus and thought it made sense to do.
No, he is not a cop currently. He is an ex-cop.
That's why you went to jail. Now, a lot of people get in their feelings about this, and I understand in part, but this is, to me, debunks all of the stupidity when it comes to, the Jews and Israel is not a friend of ours. Israel hates America. You have one IDF soldier.
No, he probably was, honestly, but always. And most depictions show him to be fairly, not really dark, but most show him to be darker than the average white person. Regardless, I just always love to hear hear the black people talk about black Jesus, and and like you said, he was probably in between. He was probably a brown skinned person. So I think it's a stupid argument to make, though.
You see one in the picture, and I believe it's one behind the camera. You don't see 50 of them. You don't see 60 of them. You don't see an overwhelming support for this heinous behavior. You see swift action from the IDF.
Ooh.
You see that they said they're going to do an investigation, and both of those IDF soldiers got arrested.
Imagine that. Reckon that was because they firmly disagree with desecrating, anything Christian Christ related, or do you think it's because there was some extremely bad PR and that this photo went like mega viral overnight? Which one do you think? Do you think it's because they have this strong conviction against people desecrating Christian, whatever you want to call it? I doubt it. And to me, this is not proof that this is not proof that everybody's crazy when they talk about how Christians get treated, just because there's only one person there smashing this, statue of Jesus. To me, that proves the point. That is the religion. That is how they feel. That's how they're taught to feel and how they're taught to act.
That's all you can ask for. For all the Jew haters out there that just think like people do stupid stuff all the time. My measuring point is, will they be held accountable? Us being one of the biggest allies, or the biggest ally to Israel, I would expect the IDF to do this very thing. When an IDF soldier disrespects an effigy, effigy? I think it's called effigy. An effigy of Jesus Christ, then that person needs to be held accountable. If they were not held accountable, then I think there should be outrage. Things should be said. But the fact that they got arrested, you're not going to see certain people talk about it because they wanted the outrage without the justice that's being served. All right, let's get to something more interesting.
No, man, it just shows again what their feelings are towards Christ and Christians. That is part of the religion. That is all. That is as far as my outrage goes. I think it's bullshit. But no, I don't care anything about. Trust me, I would not hope that this would go on without any kind of punishment or what have you. But just so we can keep talking about it. To me, the point's already made. Like I said, that religion is anti-Christian no matter what anybody, including Officer Tatum or Graham Allen or Dan Bongina or any of those people tell you. So it is what it is.
Tyler Robinson's grandfather. I guess this was leaked to the media. I saw a couple people sharing this online, and this is allegedly Tyler Robinson's grandfather saying that he believed Tyler Robinson was set up. I want to play the clip for you.
Smart man.
Appears that the people who recorded this clip did a podcast, so it appears to me that it's verifiable. We're going to play it, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. Roll it.
Oh, they did? Like credit food or?
Just snacks.
Yeah. What are you guys for Tyler? What are you for Tyler or the other side?
Grandparents.
Oh, your grandparents? Oh,
I'm really sorry you're going through this.
yeah. It's tough for you guys.
Yeah, it sucks. But we're here to support them. So.
Yeah. We think your grandchild is absolutely brilliant, but I'm an investigative journalist, so
Well,
I
I'm
did
not
you?
remember
Yeah?
what for the us that you do.
Man, you're constant. I can tell you that you're very right. That's why,
And
yeah,
my dad was a cop for 30 years.
yeah.
He showed me all of this.
Yeah, of course, but
All right, here's my thoughts on this. First of all, this
I can't wait.
is called terrible journalism, because when you're a journalist, you're supposed to be impartial as a journalist. Therefore, you can get unprovoked information out of people, which means you don't let people know what your stance is before you talk to them and ask them questions.
First off, she didn't walk in there with a press pass and say, okay, I'm a journalist. This is on the record, can I show your face? No, that is not at all what this was. yeah, could she have just walked up and said, "Do you think he was framed?" Yeah, maybe she could have. Would she have got a different answer? Maybe, but I doubt it. I mean, there's 9 members of his family. They're a close family, both sides of the family there to support him. So I just don't know how much that would have changed the answer. And again, like I said, yeah, if she had walked in there with a press pass and said, okay, let's go on the record, we're going to record this, and okay, maybe she could have approached it a little different, but this is literally small talk. And look, I know it randomly got recorded by somebody else and blah 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 blah. Let's all be honest here. Everybody knows, or I mean, I don't know, allegedly, but I would say chances are Brandy recorded it. I mean, who else would have had their phone out recording? I mean, like, it is what it is. The other person that happened to catch it on the recording, I was probably Brandy, which is fine. Hey, I'm proud of her. Glad she got it.
See if you can get a genuine response. But to get on there and say, yeah, you're 100% right, I believe your grandson is framed, 2 things that I think about. One is that they may have wanted to go along with the journalists because they were put on the spot, or they may actually believe this. Now, there's 2 more things that arise. One is that they believe it because they have actual evidence for it to be true. And the other thing is that they have compassion for a family member, like most people do. Even if they know their grandson guilty, they're going to stand by him no matter what. How do you know that, Mr. Tatum? I have a family member that's doing life in prison right now. He committed a crime it was on television, televised, on the news. My uncle running out the thing with he's my great uncle. He's running out of the grocery store after tried to shoot, and he robbed the convenience store. He tried to shoot the man with a shotgun. He ducked. He takes the cash register, run out and dump the money, get caught later. And people in the family still act like he innocent. But he framed. He on camera shooting a guy at the stove.
All right, I got to. At the stove. I did it once.
And people still think he didn't do nothing. So, in part, I'm not.
Yes, but let's be clear. He explains at least one of the reasons why he thinks that he was framed. It's not because, Tyler isn't capable of this. I don't think Tyler would do this. He said right off the bat why. It's because they're claiming that he shot him with his old 30-06, and he knows the ballistics, and he's hunted, he's used the gun, and he knows that did not happen. So if he didn't use the weapon they're saying that he used, and they know him and feel like he wouldn't do something like this, then one could start to believe possibly there's some framing going on. He knows what would have happened if he'd have been shot in the neck with that gun. And this guy should know that, and maybe he does. Probably he does. Who knows? I don't know. Carrying water regardless.
I'm saying it's unequivocal. We will see in the court of law, but in part, the grandparents could be falling for that fallacy that the grandson didn't do anything. Now, I find it very interesting, and this could just be an edit from that. Why is it only 50 seconds? 2 things.
Maybe her phone was full and it shut off. Who knows?
Why is the recording on?
I don't think after that, so he's questioning this like it's a big deal. I seriously doubt that after that was said, he said anything I don't think he reversed course or went back on anything he said. I think if there was more to the recording, I'd say it was probably either inaudible or just totally unrelated. Could be wrong. I could very well be wrong. But why is it a big deal unless something else was said after the fact to go back on what he had previously said? I mean, really, it doesn't matter, does it?
Only 50 seconds. And why is the recording coming out now and not when it happened? Can somebody explain that to me? Typically, when you have...
Okay, this guy in his timeline, he is all confused. It's
evidence, or you have some breaking news, why would you hold on to it for 6 months?
How in the hell did they hold on to this for 6 months? This literally was recorded at a hearing at this point now a couple weeks ago. What the hell is he talking about? Does he think this got recorded like right after Charlie was shot? I mean, or shot. I don't think he was shot right after Charlie was killed. I mean, what the hell is he even talking about here? Holding on to it for 6 months.
Or however long. I don't know how long it's been since Charlie was killed, but
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. His bestest friend in the whole wide world loves him so much and doesn't even know how long it's been since it happened.
4 to 6 months.
4 to 6 months. Really?
How do you hold on? It's about 6 months. How do you hold on to it that long, and then all of a sudden, when the trial is doing this, you go put it out? It's one thing.
What the hell makes him think they were holding on to it? Did he read any of the posts that was along with? Did he watch any of the interviews that she done after the fact? Like, this literally was recorded and released almost immediately after.
Trying to be salacious, or it's suspicious, in my opinion. Well, here's what
Not salacious or suspicious, either one, jackass. Like, this was released immediately.
I believe the journalists, their website said the narrative just collapsed, and which is completely stupid, but I'll articulate this to you. It says the narrative just collapsed. Leaked audio of Tyler Robinson's grandfather destroys the state's case. If you are still buying the official Fed slop, see, when you can tell a person is biased by terminology. Fed slop is a biased terminology.
It's cause it is Fed slop. The story makes zero sense. Nobody believes it. Okay, I'm not gonna say nobody. Most people that have brain cells to rub together do not believe it because it's bullshit. It's the stupidest narrative I've ever heard, I think, on a murder case. Absolutely. That's why he calls it Fed slop. That's why this is called on. That's why everybody calls it Fed slop, because that's exactly what it is. And if you're going to believe this, if you're going to take that Fed slop, you got to kind of hold your nose, and close your eyes and then just do your best and hope you don't taste that nasty shit.
You're not impartially. You already made your mind up that this is a conspiracy. That the Fed slop, a story about Charlie Kirk's assassination, you need to listen to this immediately. And then it goes on to say, Kansas On just aired exclusively elite courtroom audio of Tyler Robinson's grandfather talking to reporters Elizabeth Lane.
Brig, what is up? Don't know if I've seen you in the chat or not, but I'm glad to see you there, and I would love to see you in here more often. The more the merrier in there. We got one cool chat. Everybody gets along. They always good intelligent conversations going on there, and everybody's just the best people in the world. And yeah, got a lot of wisdom up in that chat. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do, because I do this usually 5 or 6 days a week, and we all have a really good time.
During a hearing break, for months, the media has pushed the lie that Tyler Robinson's family abandoned him and turned him in because they recognized the grandfather's gun in the news, which none of that is true. The reality is that the news used fake stock photos.
Okay. So there is some question on this. So I just want to throw that little caveat out there. I don't know that I 100% agree that it was a stock photo, but I'm fairly convinced that the picture was not the gun, and that's for a few reasons. But I still don't know that it was a stock photo. Who knows? But that doesn't mean anything really at the end of the day. Just hang on.
Not the actual gun. Sheriff Brooksby admitted
He don't even know Sheriff Brooksby's name. Like, what the hell?
Tyler was coerced to surrendering under threat of massive SWAT raid and on his family, and now the grandfather, the original owner of the alleged murder weapon, is speaking out. Now, let me just put this in perspective.
Yeah, let's hear your perspective, Mr. Officer Talmud Tatum.
I know that there's a lot of people that believe, wow, this is breaking news. This has nothing to do with the case. When I say nothing to do with the case, this will not sway overwhelming, compelling evidence just because the grandfather is saying that he believed that he was set up. The grandfather in this recording isn't denying that the gun is there.
So if his grandfather does hit the stand and he says, I owned this gun, I know this gun, I fired this gun many times, And I can tell you without a doubt that if he had used this gun, that we would have a totally different outcome than what we had. Way more dramatic. You don't think that there's a chance that that could possibly sway a jury and maybe even just cast reasonable doubt? May not prove that he 100% didn't do it, but it might throw enough doubt in there to keep somebody from convicting him. Just a thought.
Who's denying that the gun is there? Is the grandfather going to deny that his DNA was on the gun?
Nobody's denying that. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for his DNA to not be on the gun. We all know that it's Tyler's gun. We all know that it was his granddaddy's gun. I mean, I would be shocked to find out that that his DNA wasn't there. If you're going to set somebody up, you'd be really stupid to set them up with a gun that doesn't have their DNA on it. I mean, what the hell are we even talking about here? It's not a matter of proving whether that gun is Tyler's or whether that gun was even found on the property. They have to, without a doubt, they have to link the gun to something in Charlie's body. Without a doubt, they have to do that. Otherwise, it don't mean shit. Somebody could take and steal one of my guns, then go kill somebody, and then I could get blamed for it and go away forever because my DNA's on the gun? No. They would have to prove that I was in possession of that gun that day, and not only that, but that some type of projectile came out of there and was found in the victim.
I don't want people to say, I believe Brandon Tatum or anything. I want you to balance your perspective. You have one side that says that we have the shooter and everything. Then you have a conspiracy side. Let's play out the conspiracy side. They framed him. Who is they?
Isn't that always the question? Who is they? You tell us, Mr. Tatum. You just go ahead and solve that little puzzle for us. We would all like to know exactly who the they is. We've all gotten pretty good ideas, but yeah, if you could really answer that for us, that'd be great.
Israel. We know that's not true, but just say the FBI.
Do we? Do we know that's not true? Do we really?
Framed him. At what point did they decide to frame Tyler Robinson? Months ago? Years ago? How did they make it such a perfect timing that Tyler Robinson was on campus the day of the shooting? He was at least 200 miles away from his house because they got him in an impartial video at the Dairy Queen.
Generally, that's what happens when you have a patsy. A patsy cannot be a patsy if they're not at the location at the time when the shit goes down. I don't know why I'm having to explain this to this man. So yeah, and what the idea is, Mr. Talmud, is that he in his mind was not there to himself personally murder Charlie Kirk. He was there for some other reason, probably to drop off a gun to let somebody else do it. So yes, he was there. Again, nobody denies that. Just because he was there doesn't make him guilty. There was a lot of people that were there. Again, what the hell are we talking about here?
How did they get him to set up the look like this and like this? How would they get a text message from his dad saying, hey, where's your grandfather's gun that you have? His dad told the police that was the gun that belonged to the family.
Now, again, how did he know this? Because this is one thing I will say. At the time of Tyler's arrest, there had been no picture of this rifle out in the public at all. It didn't come out until it was at least the 12th when that came out. And that is the first publicly released photo was from, oh God, who was it that, was it the New York Post or the Daily Mail? Daily Mail, wasn't it? Anyway, that's the first photo that came out. So again, how could he recognize the gun? Even if that gun was it and he could have recognized it by seeing it, how did he recognize it when the photos hadn't come out yet? I think that's a good question. Fair question.
His mother and father both identified him on the surveillance footage.
Did they, though? Did they? Like words mean something. Words mean something, you know. I just don't know that I've ever seen anybody say that they identified him, like they positively identified their son. Now they did say that he looked similar to, I don't remember exactly how it was worded, but similar to whoever that was in the footage. But I don't know that they ever stated that they positively ID'd him.
That they coerced the parents. So when you start saying that they framed him, you got to go down a rabbit hole that's almost impossible to go down.
Oh, we're way down that rabbit hole.
Because he even have statements to say that he did it.
Where's that statement? Where's that statement? Are we talking about the Discord? Are we talking about the Discord message that was more than likely sent after he had been taken into custody, obviously phone removed, and was sitting there waiting on an investigator? Now, according to Gary Melton, he would have had his phone that whole time and was sitting there posting on Discord and playing, whatever. But really, do we have a statement from him that we know and can prove is a statement from Tyler?
And then just say that it's all made up. Why?
Did Tyler ever tell investigators, or are you basing this strictly on some damn Discord messages?
Why would they choose Tyler Robinson? He looked like an inbred, mindless individual. Why would they pick him? Why couldn't they pick somebody else? And here's the thing.
You don't always pick your patsy like that. I mean, like, you can't just say, okay, that's the perfect guy. You kind of cast a net and you see what you get. I mean, that's just the way it is. Not everybody's patsy material.
Thing too that I think about, because I consider conspiracies too. If they smart enough to find a random kid, convince him to do XYZ, in which case they can frame him by showing the video to the world, and his parents somehow identified him with his DNA on the gun and everything else.
Again, his rifle, I mean, shocker, his DNA's on it.
Why do you think they're not smart enough to fake the statement that he confessed?
I have not seen a statement that he has given to police or investigators where he has confessed.
To make it sound real and reasonable, where you would never know. But you're telling me they did all this coordinated effort and they couldn't get the confession letter right. They did all of this coerced stuff, but they somehow got a gun where grandfather could get on the stand and say, that ain't even my gun. They can fake it all, but they can't fake that well enough that it can't be disproven. They can fake it all. But when you understand investigations, you understand that you can't really fake DNA.
Nobody's saying that they faked any DNA. The patsy brought his gun. Whoop-de-doo. That's a lot of times that's how it works. And of course, I say again, like beating a dead horse, his DNA would be on that gun. But they have to prove more than that is his rifle, and they have to prove more than that even it was on the scene that day. They have to directly link we're just going to assume bullet, whatever. We're going to say the bullet. They have to directly link what was fired from that gun landed in Charlie Kirk's body. That is the only way they can get a conviction on this. So that right there alone, without any of this other bullshit, is the hurdle.
Where did they get his DNA from? And this is one thing that I want you guys to know. I don't want to be too argumentative because I know people get in their feelings about it. But think about this through real quick. When you go to submit evidence, the FBI doesn't take the evidence and the FBI director go and look at the evidence himself. They submit the evidence to a secured crime lab, which is a separate entity. There is no cross-pollination in the crime lab. They have to have a chain of custody. They submit the evidence. The crime lab takes over the evidence. The crime lab does an impartial evaluation of the evidence that's verifiable by people who are going to come and to testify that it's not connected to the FBI or any investigatory body. And then once it is done and the evidence is done, the processes are all verified. The processes are all, they're going to have somebody testify to prove that the process was impartial and all of the above. The defense will have a chance to argue that, which they were going to have no argument, because this is probably a long-standing crime lab that's been around for 50, 60 years or even more, that have done 200,000 cases, and 99.9% of all their cases have been 100% foolproof.
That's a lot of conjecture. That's a lot of assumption. That's a lot of holy shit. Okay, regardless, even if that is the process by which this testing is done, I don't give a shit who they used. The prosecution stated in court, in front of everybody, well, both did, the defense and the prosecution. The defense was saying that they have not got the underlying evidence. They've got a report that says his DNA was found on the gun. That's all they've got. They need the underlying evidence, all the forensics, how it was collected and what exact testing they did, and all the technical details and technical data. That is how you would either argue or prove out, the DNA. And they have not gotten that. And then the prosecutor got up there and said yes, because the ATF and the FBI won't release it. So regardless of who actually did the testing, the FBI and the ATF have the reports or have the data, and they are not releasing it. And why would be, the obvious question. But at the end of the day, they can't really prove that DNA. They can't prove out the case on the DNA if they don't have all that. And for some reason, the feds are not coming off of it. So I don't know. Maybe they will. We'll see. But I don't even know what he's trying to say here. Nobody's arguing any of this.
And so it's going to go down, and you guys are going to see that people are just needing content to be juicy. Here's the ladies that allegedly did this this interview, and this is what they had to say about it. Roll it.
Me and Brandy got to talk to Tyler's family. And I have to say that I really like Tyler's grandpa and Tyler's dad. They were older, so both grandmas were.
You're killing me, Smalls. What's up? Good to see you in the chat. I'm not sure if I've seen you in there or not, but if not, you need to make sure you hang out. We got a really good chat there. Lots of smart people. Everybody's all respectful and good to each other. We're a really good community, and love to see you in there again regularly. I do this generally. I do this Monday. I generally do this Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 9 a.m. And then I'll do either Friday, usually 8 o'clock at night, and this is Central Time. Usually I'll do Friday night and Saturday night, or Friday night and Sunday night, just depends. But I always keep people awesome. I see. I love Matt to death. He is good people. Yeah, and if you, I'm assuming you probably subscribed the other night, but if you didn't, make sure you do, because like I said, we do this 5 or 6 times a week, and love to have you, and glad to see you there. So, yeah, Matt's awesome. We had a good time in spite of the technical difficulties.
There, and grandpa was there as well.
There was 9 family members there, I believe.
I started this conversation with Tyler's grandfather, and I asked what they were to Tyler, and he said, well, we are grandparents. And I was like, oh, wow. So we got into the conversation, and he said, I think your grandson was framed. And he said, oh, yeah, I think he was framed too. And I'm 100%.
The grandma nodded her head too.
Yes. And this is the grandpa whose gun Tyler supposedly used to kill Charlie Kirk. So grandpa whose gun was used said that the 30-06, the gun, Tyler could not have killed Charlie Kirk with that gun. No. Ridiculous. Just this should be one of the most damaging thing against prosecution.
All right, time out. Let me tell you why this is not. Because that man can say whatever he wants to say. But they have a gun with Tyler Robinson's DNA on it
which means it's Tyler Robinson's gun in plain English, just so we're sticking with him. We see what he's saying here, you know. Oh, it is his gun for sure. Okay.
verified through a crime lab.
Oh, yeah, not just any lab, it's a crime lab.
And they also have Tyler Robinson's father communicating with Tyler Robinson's concern that when he sees the gun on the news, he confronts his son and says,
That damn gun wasn't on the news. This jackass don't even know how long it's been since Charlie was killed. 4 to 6 months. I don't really know. You know, he doesn't know Sheriff Bigsby's name. There were a lot of things. Like the guy has no clue. And now he's just said that he saw the gun on the news. There was no gun on the news. The gun did not come out until after Tyler was arrested. That gun was not put out there, and that's not even considering whether it's a legitimate picture of the gun or not. Regardless of all that, there was no gun out prior to Tyler Robinson taking and turning himself in, you know, and being arrested. So that is an absolute moot point.
Tyler, where's that gun at? Tyler couldn't produce the gun. Tyler goes on to a messaging thread with his lover and articulate that he hid the gun in the bushes and police are surrounding the gun.
Hid it, literally. Like sitting out there in between two trees by an old chicken coop, whatever. Hid it.
So independently, law.
Hey, Angela, and who else we got? King J. Good to see y'all in here. Y'all, hey, look, we got an outstanding rule here. You show up in the chat once, you gotta keep showing up. That's just the way it goes. We got an awesome group here. We always have a good time. Just kind of laid back and relaxed, you know. So, yeah, hope to see you in here again. Yeah, make sure you're subscribed. If you're not, please do that. And of course, like the video and all that good stuff too, but we'll get to that in a minute. Yeah, good to see y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here.
Law enforcement is in a particular area that connects with what his statement was on a separate chat to his lover that he thought nobody would see.
Again, this chat, if I'm remembering correctly, was posted somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. Something like that on Discord. So Tyler pulls up at the jail, you know, at 6:25. He is at the jail. And this is in the documents, the court documents. So there's not really much way around this. Gary Melton's argument is that when he went in there at 6:25, they didn't Mirandize him. They didn't take his phone. And he literally posted that chat while he was sitting at the jail, which to me is ludicrous. But regardless, that is the problem with the chat. The guy got there at 6:25, and they're saying he posted this chat between 8 and 9 o'clock, whatever exact time it was, and I call bullshit. He was living with Lance. He had all those devices. Not trying to accuse anybody of anything. This is all allegedly, but you know, I could see how Lance would have access to the devices and to his accounts more than likely, and you could in my mind I could see, you know, maybe even Lance doing it. I think that Lance had more to do with this whole thing than anybody's saying. I got a good feeling Lance was there that day, but regardless, that's getting way ahead of things.
And he goes on to confess. He talked to his family before saying the time has come, you know, making crazy statements about his hatred towards Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, Jenna, he's like an extreme schizophrenic.
I mean, you got a plethora of different evidence.
A plethora of different evidence.
I'm gonna let him finish one more point, and then I'm gonna show you some.
If you use the word plethora, I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard anybody use the word plethora different right together like that. It didn't sound right. Maybe it's just because I'm from Tennessee.
Information from somebody that messaged me on my platform saying that they were or they knew a neighbor that has Tyler Robinson on film running through their backyard when he hit the gun.
Okay. For one, you don't like hearsay. You don't like stuff coming from people that are not on the record. For one, okay. Let's say this person that has this footage. We already know Tyler was on the scene. We've already got a pretty good idea that Tyler was there and at some point left, probably in a hurry. So unless he had a rifle in his hand, what the hell does this footage with him crossing their yard prove? I mean, that he crossed their yard? Maybe they could get him for trespassing, but this has absolutely nothing to do with this case. So what the hell point are you trying to make, Mr. Talmud Tatum?
Let him
Would
finish.
like to know how they actually got him to go in and if the story we're being told is authentic at all.
No, I don't think so, because
No.
talk about this. So
Hey, Lead Me, what's up? Good to see you in there too. Y'all just keep piling in.
what did you feel between the chemistry between grandpa and father? I think they were on the same wavelengths, in tune, and all of this, right? Like they were very close to each other. They were sitting right next to each other. So my thought is that if grandpa thinks this story is bullshit with this whole
Yes, and 5 other people's DNA, exactly. And I don't know this obviously, but I'm going to go ahead and assume on 3 of them. I mean, I would say that there's probably Tyler Robinson's DNA, there's probably his daddy's DNA, and there's probably his granddaddy's DNA. And then who are the other 2? Who knows? One of them could be Lance Twiggs. You never know. I bet if it is, we don't ever hear about that. But it's interesting, like I always say, that words matter. They have not said that they have conclusively found Tyler Robinson's DNA on the murder weapon or the screwdriver or any of that. They keep saying this, and I'm telling you, it means something. They keep saying they collected DNA that was consistent with Tyler Robinson's DNA. What does that mean? Obviously, we'll have to wait until court to find out exactly what that means. But I have a feeling that means that there was no conclusive test done, that said, yes, this is definitely Tyler Robinson's DNA. I've said this before. I've got 4 kids, and I'll guarantee you, if we were to test our DNA, one could say that my 4 kids' DNA is consistent with mine. And it is, because certain parts of their DNA are going to be exactly mine. So this consistent with, again, to me, doesn't mean shit until they prove otherwise.
gun and everything, father thinks that too. Well,
Right.
that
I don't think
really-
there's any way that the father turned him in. I
No
just don't. And I've spoken to another family member who was also there yesterday. I'm not going to say who, but she said that about 2% of what you hear in the media about Tyler Robinson is true. And they don't think he was capable of doing something like that. And then you have the grandpa saying that he thinks that.
And that alone is not enough to, get somebody off. That alone, feelings really don't matter at the end of the day. You hear that almost every time somebody's convicted of some heinous crime. So that to me is not the point of all this. It's his reference to the rifle and what he knows about the rifle and how he's used the rifle. And he knows that there's no way that rifle was used to kill Charlie Kirk. That is the bombshell in all this. That's the meat and taters. He owned the gun. He knows what the gun will do. He shot the gun, and his daddy was a cop. Used to show him all the ballistics, and there's no way that gun shot Charlie Kirk and wounded him in the fashion that he was wounded in. That is the main part of this.
He was framed, and the grandma nodding.
Right. Could he be framed? Is it a possibility? Could the family be telling the truth? Yes, there's a possibility. The likelihood is not that prevalent.
Prevalent? The likelihood is not that prevalent. Again, dude, quit going through the dictionary right before you start the show. Jesus Christ.
He's framed with who did it.
That is the question. Who's they? Who done it?
You know, also when it comes to the last statement that they made and saying that they think that the father and the grandfather's in lockstep when it comes to this. According to who? They said it. Why not release the video of it, the audio of it? They only showed us 50 seconds. What's on the rest of the audio? What's on the 2, 3, 10, 15-minute audio that's being said?
How do we know it's not a 50-second recording, for one? And maybe there's more. But for two, I mean, I don't see that being a huge deal. Now, maybe if the grandpa is crazy or just lying and turned right around and contradicted himself after the fact, yeah, maybe that could be important, but I don't think that's the case. So, I mean, really, who cares? I mean, especially if somebody was recording without their knowledge, I'd say there's a good chance it's only a 50-second video. Maybe Granddaddy looked over there and saw them recording until they shut it off real quick. Who knows? I don't know. I heard what he said, and to me, that's enough.
That they refused to put out, or they did not put out for whatever reason. You just talked to them for 50 seconds? I would think that they would put a lengthy audio out so people can decipher for themselves what the protocol is.
We'll see you later, Miss Debbie. Thank you for showing up. We will. I'll see you again here real soon. Thank you so much.
Now I'll add this to it as well. It's family members always say, "My family didn't do nothing." We see it happen all the time. Maybe they believe it, maybe he didn't. But we have a text, we have a message, and I can't verify if this is true or not. I'm just giving a statement here, or at least showing you what people are sending me. It says, "I live 8 blocks from UVU in Utah. I grew up on that campus. Tyler Robinson ran through my friend's sister's yard, and they have him on camera, turned it in. There's more evidence out there than what you..."
Evidence of what? What is that evidence for? That he was there? I mean, we already know he was there. I mean, who gives a shit if he run across their yard? Like I said, unless you're trying to get him on some kind of trespassing charge. Who gives a shit? Did he have a rifle in his hand? I would think that if that was the case, he probably would have mentioned that in that message there. So again, who cares? What is that supposed to mean?
You see on the surface. Now, I know there's more evidence because I've done investigations before, and I understand that we cannot disclose majority of the evidence to the public. So what?
Yeah, that sounds like something that would be super, super important to keep hidden until trial.
Whatever they're showing, there's like 3 or 4 times their evidence behind the scenes. And also they say there's impossible that Tyler Robinson father turned him in. I'm telling you.
I've never heard anybody say that exactly. I do and have always maintained that there is a difference between turning somebody in and helping to facilitate, a safe, peaceful, whatever transfer to the system, to hope that the system works this out. That's a big difference. If you think that they're coming either way, it's the smart thing to do, especially when it's alleged that you've done something like this. It's the smart thing to do to take yourself down there. Got a lot of trigger happy cops out there, and I love the cops, don't get me wrong, but you got a lot of trigger happy people out there that want to go home, and one wrong move and
y'all. And it's interesting that these girls are saying this. It would be also interesting as the family is saying this, because in the affidavit probable cause statement to make an arrest, they articulated that there was a conversation between Tyler Robinson and his father, and Tyler Robinson wanted to take his own life, that his father convinced him to come down and turn himself in with the assistance of the neighbor who was a sheriff. The actual sheriff did a press conference explaining how they got to the conclusion of Tyler Robinson turning himself in. Mm-hmm. So you have to argue that the sheriff is compromised, that every FBI agent in Salt Lake City is compromised, the father is compromised, the boyfriend, whom they're going to probably have testify in front of the world, is compromised.
Yeah, I'd say he probably most definitely is compromised, allegedly.
Tyler Robinson's computer is compromised.
Yeah, more than likely.
You got all of this compromising when at the end of the day, a nut job who hate Charlie tried to kill him, like all of these nut jobs that try to kill conservatives in other capacities. So we shall see.
And where this all went wrong is when he magically, mysteriously, accidentally, in my opinion, ended up with a gaping hole in his neck. I feel like this was all intended to be a chest wound. The 30-06 would have been just fine. You could have easily convinced people that it was a 30-06 to the chest and not had an exit wound. I mean, it's still not the most likely outcome, but it would be way, way more believable and acceptable than what we're being told. When I can guarantee you, if everybody had been really quiet when his neck opened up like that, if everybody could have been really quietly, there would have been an oh shit that was heard around the world, because that I don't feel like was intended to happen.
When the preliminary hearing happens, you're going to get a lot of information, and you're going to be able to hear the argument of probable cause for the defense.
Yes, Oswald, I believe it did. I don't believe he was meant to turn himself in. I really don't. I'm pretty sure he was supposed to be Jack Rubenstein. Let's say it like that. Yeah, I think, again, I think there was some oh shits got said whenever he showed up at the jail.
The probable cause for the prosecution and the rebuttal from the defense. And we shall see. But I'm telling you right now, I've been right about every case that I've been on. And I say 2 didn't go.
Scruff, I seen that. And look, I'm not knocking them, but I'm just not there yet. There's a couple different reasons why. But for me, the most important reason is that with the circumstantial evidence that allegedly all of the dirty deeds that have gone on around Charlie, in the past while, with the sudden course change, with them all of a sudden taking money that he refused to take, and by all appearances, because of what that money is for, we start talking about all this stuff that Danks has been covering. With that, and then with all of the shady stuff in Erica's past, when you look at all of that, to me, it just seems like he was in the way. And he's not anymore, and things are going the direction that certain people wanted it to go. That being said, that would lay a little guilt at the feet of probably quite a few, whether they were directly involved or just had foreknowledge. They benefited from him being gone, out of the way. If you go with the whole he faked it theory, that's going to, by default, automatically just absolve everybody of everything, including our best ally over there. And I just can't get there yet. I would have to start there. If somebody could prove without a shadow of a doubt that we're all crazy and that all this funny business hasn't been going on and that Charlie was not indeed in the way, if somebody could prove that, then I would start looking a little more at the physical, aspects of all of it. But at this point, I just feel like he needed to be got out of the way, and in that case, I'm guessing he's probably not alive.
The way that I expected it to go in the trial, but I was completely correct about it. And both of them were for political reasons, not anything else. If you change this person out for this person, the officer would have been found not guilty.
Yeah, go back and watch that, Scruff. Manufactured Martyr, I believe, parts 1 through whatever it is, 7, 8, 10. Go watch it. I mean, it's interesting. It is. Jesse's a good look. I like Jesse, and if that's what he believes, that's great. I'm just not there yet. And there's other reasons. I tend to feel like at least people that are fairly discerning, they can kind of tell when somebody's soul has left the body. There are some people out there, I feel like, I don't know. If you're watching it It just seems like you can tell when somebody's been killed. And maybe not always. And maybe he's the best actor in the world. But yeah, there's a whole lot of other reasons why I'm not there. But to me, those are the biggest ones.
It's just that simple. All right.
It would explain everyone's strange behavior, Bliss. Absolutely. I agree there. But we do now know, confirmed by Erica, that when they were at one of those little meetings, it wasn't the Hamptons, I don't think. I think it was the other one. Where was it? Anyway, it was confirmed by Erica that Charlie got a call from BB. And it's confirmed that they had offered to take Charlie to the next level. We also know that Charlie did not take him up on that. Now, like a month after he's gone, and that number 150 million kept getting thrown around. I don't think anybody ever really truly validated that that's what he was being offered. But then like a month later, all of a sudden they get this 150 million, and it's coming maybe not directly from, but through Israel. And then that's where all this Clock Tower LLC and all this Show Faith by Works and all this geofencing and tracking and all of this all of a sudden is literally, I mean, that's when everything started falling into place. Like none of these contracts were signed. None of this was going through until he was gone. So it just, again, makes me feel like Charlie was not going to have that. And the only way for them to get it is to get him out of the way.
Let's get to another story. And this one is crazier than two left shoes on an eight-legged man. And I don't know how anybody still follow this guy anymore. But this is Tucker Carlson and his brother Bucky. I just don't know, y'all. What happened to Tucker Carlson? I know a lot of people say that I changed. Pull up the receipts. Show me where any point that I've made over the years has ever changed.
What does it matter? I feel like if you haven't changed over the years, over the amount of time that he has spent sitting in front of a camera behind that microphone and doing public events, if he hasn't changed at all, in no way, I'm sorry. That doesn't mean you're just consistent. In my mind, that would lead me to believe that you have marching orders. You've got a script. Like it's just not natural for a person to not grow and learn something in that length of time. So to me, it's more suspicious if you haven't changed your views over the past 10 years, 15 years, whatever.
Show me changing on Israel.
Yes, that is the other option, Smalls, exactly. And I would say there's probably quite a bit of merit to that.
Show me making a change on Trump. Show me changing about policing. Show me changing about conservatism, freedom, Second Amendment. Show me where I've changed about anything that I've said. And I can show a highlight tape of Tucker Carlson just a couple years ago saying the complete opposite of what he's saying. Not adjusting his perspective, opposite. Now look at him and Doofus on here. Bash Trump, bash. And I'll say this before we get into it. This is all about Israel. This is all about the hatred of Jews.
Absolutely, Scruff. And I'm not saying, people shouldn't look into it. I feel like everybody should explore all options. Like I said, I'm just not there yet. And if I ever got there, I think I would lose any and all respect that I've ever had for him. Anybody that could do something like that he knew how loved he was, and everybody around him in his family, in his circle could not know this and actually be able to pull it off. So if you're willing to put people that are close to you that love you and, the general public, people that work for Turning Point or affiliated with Turning Point, not all these people that loved him, if you could put all of those people through that, to me, you're just not a good person, and that's not very Christian. That's just my...
In Israel. That's what this comes down to. This is the only reason why they hate Trump all of a sudden and why they hate everything about Trump and conservatives. that don't hate Israel. You can't even be impartial about Israel anymore. You have to hate them.
Who said hate? I don't think either one of these two guys is fixing to say anything about hating.
Roll the clip.
We do have remedies for an out of control, megalomaniacal, destructive president. I think, honest people who have that power should consider taking it. 25th Amendment is there for a reason. It's not crazy to talk about it in this context. If our country is suffering great and lasting damage, which it seems to be, then sober minds need to come in and exercise what power they have for the benefit of all of us. Easier said than done, I'm sure.
Right, easier said than done. But I mean, it's certainly, I think saying the truth, whatever you think that it is the first step toward redemption of yourself and of your country.
Yes.
Tell the truth. That's your number one duty.
Can I say one other thing?
Of course.
I'm certain the fear of the physical threat is real. That's
yeah,
been
obviously.
demonstrated a lot. But all
Again, as soon as he come into office, he gets a golden pager in a glass case, just as a reminder, allegedly.
so if it's shame, if there's blackmail material as there is on so much of our elected officials, if there isn't Trump.
Time out. This is what grind my gears, this blackmail stuff. What are y'all talking? Like, what blackmail? Is there verifiable evidence of specific blackmail that you're talking about? Donald Trump has been accused of rape. Donald Trump has been accused of all kinds of sugar honey iced tea. Donald Trump got 34 felony charges. E. Carroll, whoever her name is, she done came out and said he groped her in the bathroom. They found him responsible. What blackmail do they have about Trump? They released the Epstein file. Some girl said he did something to her, which we know she's a lying POS. What blackmail they got on Trump then? He done been, all the stuff done been put out there. But it's easy to just say they got blackmail. Make your mind up. Do they hate Trump or they using Trump? Make that make sense to me. Because in a minute, they're going to talk about the assassination of Trump, how it's staged. By who? Roll the clip.
It's like, I'm sorry. You've demonstrated that you don't have any personal shame. I mean, you've demonstrated that a lot. You persevered through all of these accusations of disgusting personal behavior. How shocking is it really if there are pictures of you doing compromising things? Not very. And it doesn't even matter. Like, actually, I hate the term, but sack up.
Yeah.
Like, really, again, it comes back to the obligation that he has, not just to Donald Trump, to everybody else in the country, well beyond Donald Trump. Who cares?
With no evidence, this man is saying they got potentially compromising pictures of Donald Trump. They played the Access Hollywood. They've done all kind of stuff to make Trump look bad. You think Trump care? He's the president. Show a picture of him with a girl, with a butt naked freak. What, he gonna stop being a president? You can't impeach him because he horny. Bill Clinton was getting service in the White House from an intern. They had blackmail on him. Man, that man told the world. He lied at first. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. That man was still the president. He got reelected. What are y'all talking about? But they got this mysterious blackmail that nobody know that. Come on, bro. Everybody, they got blackmail on everybody, though. Everybody got blackmail on. All right, this boy, roll it.
You and I and everyone else who supported him, you wrote speeches for him, I campaigned for him. I mean, we're implicated in this for sure.
Yes.
It's not enough to say, well, I changed my mind, or like, oh, this is bad, I'm out. It's like, in very small ways, but in real ways, you and me and millions of people like us are the reason this is happening right now.
Yes. So
I do think it's like a moment to wrestle with our own consciences. We'll be tormented by it for a long time. I will be. And I want to say I'm sorry for...
And do I agree 100% with everything Tucker Carlson says? No. Listen to him and listen to Brandon Tatum. Who do you think comes across as being more in good faith, more honest, more thoughtful about what they're saying? To say that Tucker Carlson is stupid and to say that he is crazy, lost his mind, I don't hear the voice of a crazy person there, but that is just me.
What is happening here? We've been in war with Iran for like a month, 2 months. The world is coming to an end?
Yeah, we didn't want to be there to start with. Kind of what we thought we were getting.
We're gonna be tormented by this for life. Because of what? What has Donald Trump actually done? They claim on one hand he didn't do.
I'll explain it to you, Brandon. What he means by will be tormented for life means that they are going to feel bad about encouraging people to vote for the man based on, the delivery so far. That's exactly what he means. That's all he means. He's not talking about any one thing in particular. He just means he feels bad for pushing for him to be reelected.
Nothing he said he was going to do. And on the other hand, he's done all this bad stuff. Which one is it, bro? Trump ain't done nothing different or more extreme or better or worse than his first term. But they're acting like the man done something. We ain't seen the results of half of the stuff he's trying to do. We haven't seen the results of it. How do you jump this far? Because you hate Israel. Roll the clip.
Misleading people.
How do you jump that far? Like, where the hell did that come from?
And it was not intentional. That's all I'll say. But anyway, the question does present itself immediately. Like, what is this? Was this always the plan? You don't want to be a conspiracy nut, but clearly there were signs of low character. We knew that.
Yes.
But it didn't. There are tons of people of low character who outperform their character. It doesn't have to be
Sort of the norm, actually, these days. I would say.
I've outperformed my character a lot. I don't have especially high character, right? But you try your best. But
So in the same sense that he's trashing Trump, he's saying he don't have high character. Do they have blackmail on you? It gets worse. Here's them. They say stuff about the Butler shooting, and they also go against Charlie Kirk shooting. And they come up with these conspiracies with no evidence. At any point in this clip, are they going to produce any suggestion of evidence? No. Roll the clip.
is this always the plan?
Looking back after the last year and a half, it seems like it kind of was. And it's easy. Well, you could get really deep about it and say, what was Butler? Like, how was it that and Ryan Ruth? I mean, he was subject to 2 legitimate assassination attempts. Have we ever gotten to the bottom? I know you talked a lot about this, but have we ever gotten to the bottom of that?
I talked a lot about it. I don't know the answer, but I know that those investigations have been stymied. Fact.
Yeah, stymied from the very top, from people who actually would have the power to get to the bottom of it.
And the motive.
Yes,
yeah,
very much.
Time out. The motive is Jews. Because are you telling me, I'm just to put your thinking cap on, are you telling me that Donald Trump orchestrated an assassination attempt where the assassin was so good that he missed shots, killed a random person, and then he just grazed Donald Trump's earlobe? And
No, but maybe, just maybe, the whole Iran did it thing was just a talking point to, for one, change the way people feel about Iran, and for 2, to take the heat off of possibly another country that may have been responsible for the assassination attempts. What better way to control somebody? What better way to have someone do your bidding than to orchestrate 2 assassination attempts and get really close, and then after the 2 attempts, give the man a golden pager and a glass case to sit on his desk as a reminder, we can get you anywhere, anytime. What better way to control somebody than that? Nobody's saying that Donald Trump orchestrated I don't say nobody's saying it, but I'm for sure not saying that Donald Trump orchestrated the first assassination attempt and they used somebody so good that he could shoot that close and barely nick his ear and not kill him. No. But I am saying that I don't believe it was Iran. I'm sorry. They've never proved that it was, and I don't believe that it was. I believe it was our greatest ally. I believe between that, then the other attempt, and then as soon as he came into office, Bibi gave him that nice little trophy gift reminder, and I think that's where we're at.
it was all staged, exactly how it was planned. Or are you saying the guy was just shooting into the crowd and accidentally grazed Trump so he could have a moment where he put his hand up and go, I'm fighting for you guys? Are y'all serious? The real motive. And they're saying Donald Trump is covering up the assassination attempt on his own life. For what?
So people don't realize it's our greatest ally. He has probably got the message. Okay, as long as I play ball, I don't have to worry about this happening again. We're going to keep letting people think it's Iran because we're trying to go to war with Iran. It's a win-win situation. I mean, yeah, it sucks, But yeah, I mean, I don't see what good it would do for him to tell the world that it was the greatest ally. Maybe if he did that, maybe they'd get him next time. I could come up with several good reasons why the man that had the assassination attempt on them, I could see several reasons why that man would want to stop the investigation and not let anybody know who was really responsible. Makes perfect sense to me.
Why would Donald Trump cover up his own assassination attempt? What's the theory behind that? They don't have to give one. They just throw it out there. Roll it.
I just did, dumbass.
The enormous amount of money he got from Miriam Adelson. Now
the Jews.
It seems suspect to a lot of.
That's not what he said. He said Miriam Adelson. That's a particular person with particular motives, with particular, reasons for throwing that kind of money at him. No, he didn't say the Jews.
People at the time, but there's a lot of money in politics. To run for president requires an enormous. I mean, Kathleen Camel-Toe went through $2 billion in 4 months.
Time out. Kamala Harris went through $2 billion in a few months of being activated without anybody voting for her. And Miriam Adelson gave Trump $150 million? Like, how do you stomach the idea that you say that Kamala Harris is... Why are we not looking at who gave her $2 billion? But we're looking at Miriam Adelson, who gave Trump $150 million.
We are not... Okay, and why are we not? For one, she didn't make it into office. For two, the reason everybody is upset and the reason everybody is looking into this is because he ran on something. People were sold a particular thing, and then he gets into office, and that is not at all what we're getting. Just so happens one of the very large donors has a higher loyalty to another country that is directly benefiting from all of the ways that Trump has gone back on what he promised. Is that simple enough, Brandon?
And she wasn't even the biggest giver. Elon Musk gave
She wasn't the biggest giver. Biggest donor, I guess.
$1 million more than she did. Roll it.
So, sure, there's an argument to be made that you get money from those who will give it to you.
Maybe that's what happened with Elon and Trump. Maybe he was like, hey, I gave you more money. I need you to help me out here. I need you to do something with these EVs. And Trump was like, oh, yeah, he gave me more money. I should probably do something. But then, Adelson says, well, I gave you a lot of money too. And not only that, but, my people will kill you. Then what? I guess you don't help out the one that gave you the most money. You go with the other guy.
It's just the nature of that game. But
Tucker Carlson received investment money to start his Tucker Carlson podcast of like $17 million from a person who was not a white male in America. What? Okay, keep going.
Still reprehensible, and it's still a big question mark. Why would someone who has obvious and demonstrated allegiance to a foreign power give Donald Trump $250 million while he's running for president? I mean, how is that defensible? It's really not. If Russia had given a PAC for Trump, if the mayor of Moscow had somehow, assembled an enormous amount of money and put it in a 501c3 for Trump's benefit, would that have been acceptable? Of course it wouldn't have been.
Now, how in the funnel cake are you comparing Miriam Adelson, who's an American, her family has generated wealth right here in the United States of America, that she decided to give to his campaign as a family gift? You're bringing up another country. She's an American. You're comparing an American that want to support Trump to win because they love this country.
Donald Trump said himself in the Knesset over there in Israel that Miriam Adelson really loves this little country. In fact, I think she loves it more than she does the U.S. So yes, when a donor gives a huge amount of money like that, and up front, and even in hindsight, that this person is more concerned with our greatest ally than with us, then yeah, that becomes a problem. That is about the same as Russia putting together a pact. But regardless, do we know that all of that came directly from her? Or do we, What if some of that money did come directly from our greatest ally and was put into her PAC? How do we know that every penny came directly from her pocket? I don't think we know that. Maybe we do. Regardless, like I said, Trump even said in front of God and everybody that she loved Israel more than the United States.
Why does it got to be about the Jews? Can Miriam Adelson just love America? So everybody that gave to Trump, which he probably raised $1 billion.
Right, Scruff. Exactly.
She only gave.
And everybody, and I hate that it's that way, but every person I've ever known of in my life that had a dual citizenship, that other citizenship was always took priority. Always, always, always. Never the American citizenship. That's just the way it is.
150 million. So everybody that gave to Trump is got an allegiance to Israel. Why can't we just love our country? And she wants him to win over.
Why can't we? That's a really good question. That's a really good question.
Jacqueline Kamala Harris. Why can't Miriam Adelson just want Trump to win over Kamala?
Well, she could. She could. But that's just not the way it was. Yeah, she wanted him to win so he could do certain things, which it appears he is doing. I mean, she made an investment, and now she's getting the return on that investment.
It's got to be an allegiance to Israel. Why? Keep going.
So what does someone, it's so basic, comes back to the money. Like, what did they get in return for that amount of investment? And it's clear.
The presidency.
I get it. No, I mean, of course, I agree with every word that you're saying. I just think, given his behavior and his demonstrated disloyalty and viciousness to previous supporters,
Yes.
why wouldn't he display the same lack of loyalty to Miriam Adelson? I mean, that's kind of the question. The only people he's
Time out. I got more. Let's go to the next clip. Elon Musk gave $250 million. That's $100 million more than Miriam Adelson did. And Elon Musk got.
Why does he keep saying 150 million? Is it not 250 million that Miriam Adelson gave? I guess I could be wrong, but I think he's the only person I've heard so far that says she only gave 150 million. I'm almost positive it was at least 200, if not 250 million.
Kicked out of
Oh no, he has no sources ever. I mean, it's what he was accusing all of us of.
the government, and Donald Trump told him to go himself. And then they end up making it up again. So you're telling me that he's more loyal to Miriam Adelson, who gave less, than Elon Musk, who gave more and was a part of Doge in the government.
Don't matter how much money you give, if you know for a fact that that person or person behind them will kill you if you don't do it, then yeah, you kind of have to show preference to the one that didn't give as much money.
But Miriam Adelson is the one that's controlling Trump. What? Donald Trump was a president before. Y'all never said nothing about Miriam Adelson before. It's because now you hate Israel, and so everything is a conspiracy.
No, now we're going to war on their behalf. So far, this had not happened. That is where that is why that's why the outrage. That's why she has been talked about so much. Up until we went to war with Iran, I mean, you know, yeah, there was some complaints about this, that, or the other, but this has been the red line for a lot of people. So now we see what appears to be him going to war for another country, and that will in no way benefit our country. And so, yes, now, you know, the money is getting called into question for sure. That's just the way it goes.
Against Israel. Roll the clip.
He does have the power to stop and hold a press conference and be like,
"We'll see you later, Ryan. You better make sure you're back up in here. You know how it is. I ask about you every time, so make sure to jump in next time. It was good seeing you, though. Thank you for coming and hanging out."
I don't know what it looks like, but he could say, I'm under incredible pressure from this outside force. Obviously, Israel is exerting this pressure on him. He could be forthcoming.
Yeah, that's the other thing. I mean, she did directly ask him to annex. If you know, she did ask for him to allow the West Bank to be annexed for sure. So there you go. There's another reason.
Coming in straightforward about it. And
Time out. I think I'm done with this segment. It's so many clips. Just hold on. Why do they think that Israel has so much more of an impact on Trump than Qatar? Qatar gives billions of dollars into our educational institutions every year. Billions. And they also gave.
Okay. Did Qatar, for one, pay for him to be elected, like through PACs? I don't think so. For two, yes, they fund some of our educational institutions. Big whoop. There's not a Qatari APAC where all of our elected representatives are being funded by Israel. So there's a huge difference in funding some schools and funding almost every single representative elected official that we have, at least in the federal government.
Donald Trump gifted him a airplane for Air Force, to be an Air Force One plane, which is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And we also have a military base in Qatar. Wouldn't you think that Qatari relations with America should be something we should look into? And they do not share our values in the same way that Israel may have, or that other countries.
Okay, I'm just going to say this. Muslims do not believe that Jesus Christ is God. And so that is different than Christians. They do believe he's a prophet. They do revere him. According to the Talmud, which is part of the Jewish religion, they think that Jesus Christ was a nobody that caused a lot of trouble, lost his life for it, and now is burning in hell in excrement. Which do you think is closer to our values? Obviously, I know there are radical Islamists. Not all Muslims are created equal, but in general, the Muslim religion is more compatible with Christianity than the Jewish religion. And that is a fact. I'm sorry. I don't care who that upsets.
Countries have. How do we have a military base in Qatar and Hamas and other terrorist leaders are meeting in Qatar? And somehow we got to deal with them. Is that not suspicious to you? Qatari money is long, bro. The Saudi money is long. That Arab money is long. They make Israel look like they're in poverty. Qatar gives more money.
Investing in the United States is one thing. Actually, funding these campaigns for individuals is another. You're not going to get that individual control because you're investing in America. You get that from, again, these people funding the politicians. Without them, they can't hardly get elected. And so if they cross them, they worry about getting primaried. So yes, that is why. It's AIPAC.
It's our universities that we pay Israel. That's more money than we give them for military that they have to spend in America. Qatar gives more money to, pay in our institutions. China lobbies 10, 15 times more than what Israel could ever do. I'm going to let him finish and then we're moving on. I promise. I just had to get this off my chest.
He's dumb, but he ain't that dumb. This is not good faith. I can tell you right now. He knows better.
Yeah, this is so egregious. Roll it.
American people.
Oh, I agree. It is egregious. That is for sure. Agree 100%. First thing you said this whole time that I agree with. Yes, it is egregious.
Behind him, people who not be a lot of people.
Let's go
know
to Charlie Kirk's thing and we'll be done. This is what Stu Head and Stu Head 2 had to say about Charlie Kirk's thing. Why these same people that hate Israel believe every conspiracy? You can't never find a balance. Like, I don't like Israel, but I also don't believe the conspiracies. No, they got to be the same sheet of music. They hate Israel and they believe in every conspiracy you can think of. Roll the clip.
The weird dynamics surrounding Charlie Kirk's death, the investigation, the initial press conference held by the supposed head of the FBI, Kash Patel, who said a lot of nonsensical things.
Like what?
Behind that podium.
Like what?
No one has ever explained it.
Like what?
What does it mean? What does it mean to see I'll see you in Valhalla, Charlie? What is the significance of the number 33?
Time out. Bear with me.
This dude has even no idea. He has no clue what Valhalla is or even that Kash Patel said Valhalla.
We got more stuff. But I just don't understand. There was nothing suspicious about Charlie Kirk's death, and that people have made it suspicious. The FBI can never tell you everything.
Oh,
So that,
shit.
but people made that suspicious that they didn't
But what they tell you does need to make a little bit of sense.
tell you everything. They can't. They never will. You made it suspicious. They get behind the podium and they tell you everything that they put in the affidavit that they submitted to court that they made an arrest on, that they're going to court on right now. They told you all of that. But then it's suspicious. What does it mean, Valhalla? Why does it have to be something spooky? I know, like, I met Kesh Patel. I've talked to Kesh Patel before. I interviewed Kesh Patel. These people are normal people, bro. Charlie knew Kesh. They liked each other. All of a sudden, Kesh becomes the FBI director, and now he's Satan. And he's compromising. He's gonna get on camera in front of the world to give a secret code about Valhalla. What's the significance of 33? They gonna get on TV and show you that they doing a conspiracy. Keep going. Hey, Grant, look up the Valhalla thing for me, because I have no idea what he's talking about. I did hear what's the name say it? Kesh Patel say it.
This guy's so informed.
Tucker talks about it in this clip.
All right, play it.
Yeah.
No one's ever been compelled to answer that question.
It's the last clip,
Patel
y'all.
stood at the podium and made a very big point. He could have made a lot of points. First of all, they released video of the supposed killer, Tyler Robinson, jumping off like a 20-foot roof. It was a very bad quality video, even though they had high quality video on that entire campus. They released this ridiculous, like absurd, like 1973 quality VHS tape video.
Time out. So you're saying they released a fake video?
No, he didn't say fake. He said extremely shitty video. Oops, I lost my camera. Guys. I think it must be a sign. If y'all are good cutting it there,